Chapter 771, The competition has been cancelled. The hottest topic now is the competition between the 7 major cultivation colleges. Most of the students participating in the contest were from the combat specialization. Only the Capital Cultivation College sent its investigation specialization. If Lu Shu had not disrupted the selection, the combat specialization may have represented Luotian Cultivation College as well. They had been preparing to participate in the competition. But this did not sound right. The Luotian Cultivation College had already chosen its students. The principal did not choose the students. Rather, the students chose among themselves. The students from the respective major cultivation colleges were all discussing how strong their representatives were. After all, many of the representatives were class aptitude geniuses. Everyone had dazzling performance and power. Zhang Yu from the Northwest College once practiced traditional Chinese martial arts. He is very strong in combat. It's not just for show. He was already a very strong opponent, even before the dawn of the magically rich era. We have these kinds of people in the capital as well. If we weren't defeated by the investigation specialization, we have Ma Jingyi. I heard that he has consolidated his Class C status and is about to advance to Class B. Zhu Tianxiang from the Southwest College will make you understand what an expert truly is. The forum was full of people boasting. Suddenly, they realized that no one from Luotian had spoken. Someone uploaded a post asking, which specialization from Luotian is going to participate? Any representatives? I heard that Li Zimu from the combat specialization is very strong. He was full of murderous intent during missions. In the end, a student from the Luotian Cultivation College timidly replied, "We are sending the species research specialization." The other 6 major cultivation colleges were shocked. What? The species research specialization? When the other colleges entered the forum, the initial discussions had been deleted. Everyone was talking about Lord Lu's dark history. Thus, students from the other specializations did not know the origins of this nickname and why they were talking about him. Ha! 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 Brother, are you serious? Is there no one else who is willing to participate? Why is the species research specialization taking part? He's obviously joking. Why are you taking him seriously? The Luotian student was very anxious. I'm not joking. The species research specialization will represent us. Everyone who saw this gasped in shock. Are your combat and investigation specializations too afraid? Why is the species research specialization taking part? Will they be fine? Yes, don't trick the species research specialization from other colleges. If anything happens, the combat and investigation specializations should be the ones stepping up. You can't be afraid. The species research specialization is a civilian job. The Luotian students were unhappy. What do you understand? The species research specialization is very strong. Ha! 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 The species research specialization is very strong. Stop playing with us, brother. Are you dreaming? Another Luotian student commented, we only have 5 people in the species research specialization. 2 Class Bs and 3 Class Cs. Do you understand? The other colleges were shocked. This is the species research specialization? More like the Heavenly King specialization. Those who were part of the Flood of Bronze in the Lopner remains will know. Some of the members of the Flood of Bronze were shocked. Brother Shu. It's over. The other colleges are done for. The Luotian students were rather annoyed as well. After all, Lu Shu had eliminated the other students' desire to participate in the competition. It was depressing for an entire college to be oppressed by a single individual. Now that other people were depressed, they took pleasure in their misfortune. There was no need to talk about their strength. Although 20 people were required, no one doubted that the 5 of them would be able to win. There was even a possibility that they would be trashed. Although the students from the Luotian Cultivation College could not participate, as long as they won, they would be able to bask in the glory. Furthermore, the species research specialization was often looked down on. If they suddenly appeared and defeated the rest of the colleges, then, they were excited just thinking about it. When the students from the other colleges heard about the classes, they were very nervous. This must be against the rules. 2 Class Bs could defeat 20 Class Cs. Furthermore, there would be no glory in winning, since 20 people would have defeated 5. But if they lost, it would be very embarrassing. Suddenly, all the colleges received a message. Due to the possibility that students will be unintentionally harmed during the competition between the 7 major cultivation colleges has been cancelled. The forum became very active. What was this? How could they cancel the competition like that? Why were they so afraid that students would be harmed? Since when did the Heavenly Network worry about injuries? There were even fatalities during the military training. At first, everyone could not accept this. After all, everyone was absolutely terrified when the list of fatalities that occurred during the military training was published, especially since it was a period of peace. But later on, everyone started to accept this. The Heavenly Network was the same. They did not care about the flowers in a greenhouse. But for some reason, it was different this time. Do you think that they are afraid Lu Shu will kill someone? People were dumbfounded. That's not impossible. Look what he did in the past. I don't believe that no one will get injured. Stop guessing. It's because he cancelled it. A Luotian Cultivation College student said, I heard from my teacher that the species research specialization did so because the higher-ups didn't allow them to participate. They were afraid that a disaster would happen. So, Lord Lu single-handedly changed the Heavenly Network's important decision. The entire forum was suddenly flooded with Lord Lu 666. Lord Lu is amazing. Lord Lu is invincible. When Lu Shu heard about this, he was shocked. The competition had been cancelled just because he wanted to participate? He just wanted to earn distress points. He just wanted to obtain the trophy and deliver a speech. Was it that difficult? Being scared that other students would be injured? Was he that kind of person? He was. I feel like I'm being targeted by Nieting, said Lu Shu with a serious expression on his face. Chen Zuan looked at the forum that was flooded with Lord Lu 666, and laughed. Why would Principal Nie target you? Don't you? Slap. Chen Zuan received a slap at the back of his head. He lost his balance and fell. From Chen Zuan's distress, plus 666. Lu Shu got up and walked towards Zhong Yutong's office. He opened the door. To his surprise, Zhong Yutong was not sitting there. Instead, it was Yu Mingyu. Chapter 772, The Person Who Can Restrain Lu Shu. Why are you here? Where is Zhong Yutong? Lu Shu asked curiously. Yu Mingyu bashfully laughed. He went to the capital to report for duty, so I'm here to settle some affairs for him. When will he be back? Lu Shu knew that Yu Mingyu was busy with many other things, including the black market. He could be said to be Zhong Yutong's assistant. Thus, it was understandable for him to settle some matters for him. It's not decided, said Yu Mingyu with a smile. Ha! Ha! Lu Shu laughed coldly. Is he just avoiding me? Is he really there to report for duty? It's the same even if you talk to me, said Yu Mingyu. Fine. Then let me ask you. Is Nieting targeting me? Lu Shu did not look friendly. Didn't I just say that he was struck by lightning? Why did he have to cancel the competition? I'm not too sure about this. But to be honest, if you are participating in the competition, it would be normal for it to be cancelled, said Yu Mingyu. Lu Shu took out a trident and pointed it at Yu Mingyu. Think carefully before you speak. We can discuss this nicely. But I feel that between you and Heavenly King Nye, you are in the wrong. Suddenly, Yu Mingyu looked very fearful, but Lu Shu did not receive any distress points. Lu Shu took a deep breath and looked at Yu Mingyu. For some reason, he suddenly felt as if Yu Mingyu was enjoying this. He even seemed as if he was trying to make Lu Shu more angry. Lu Shu was no longer threatening Yu Mingyu. Yu Mingyu was taking advantage of him. This made Lu Shu very unhappy. He was so strong that even Zhong Yutong could not defeat him. But now, faced with Yu Mingyu, Lu Shu did not want to threaten him any further. He was afraid that Yu Mingyu would come up with some mysterious way to take advantage of him. How dirty. Lu Shu suspected that Zhong Yutong had intentionally asked Yu Mingyu to come and deal with him. How could you threaten someone who liked being bullied? He needed a solution quickly. Lu Shu thought for a very long time but could not come up with a solution. Even Lu Shu did not know what to do with a mysterious person like Yu Mingyu. Lu Shu turned and walked away. Yu Mingyu took out his phone and sent a message to Zhong Yutong. Hello, he's gone. Relax, nothing happened.
Ha! Ha! Ha!
No wonder you were so willing to deal with him. So you had something up your sleeve. Zhong Yutong burst out laughing. He was very happy. He had finally found a way to restrain Lu Shu. He was depressed every day as the principal. He was the one who suffered as a result of the feud between Lu Shu and Heavenly King Nye. They were both bosses. He could not provoke them. The more Lu Shu thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong. If Zhong Yutong continued to let Yu Mingyu deal with him, he would have to worry about Yu Mingyu taking advantage of him. But the problem was that the issue was between him and Nye Ting. Zhong Yutong was innocent. It was not good to involve the innocent. But, did Zhong Yutong really go to the capital to report for duty? Lu Shu was suspicious. Lu Shu silently returned to the laboratory. When Chen Zuan saw his expression, he stopped talking on the forum. He was afraid that Lu Shu would find out about his comments. Either way, the nickname Lord Lu had been established. All the 7 major colleges started to call Lu Shu Lord Lu. It would be impossible to get rid of this nickname in this lifetime. Of course, behind the mockery, everyone acknowledged Lu Shu's power. There was no doubt that he was the strongest among all the students. Lu Shu said, "Stay here and wait for the new teacher to come. I'm going on a trip." Chen Zuan and the rest were dumbfounded. "Brother Shu, are you going far away?" "I'm going to the Changbai Mountains." Not only that, Nye Ting cannot know about this. I heard that Nye Ting is able to analyze more than 1,000 surveillance screens at the same time. I have to disguise myself. Lu Shu's eyes were full of murderous intent. Lu Shu returned home and packed his things. He did not want anyone to follow him to the Changbai Mountains. First, his whereabouts would be easily exposed. Furthermore, he was not sure whether the journey ahead would be dangerous. The plants in the Changbai Mountains were very frightening. Lu Shu suspected that there were man-eating plants there. But these were not important. Lu Shu suspected that the thing Nye Ting's sword formation was protecting could be dangerous. The rest looked at one another helplessly. Brother Shu is going to use a disguise and secretly head to the Changbai Mountains. He is taking a huge risk. Then what do we do? Chang Qiuqiao looked slightly worried. What else can we do? Chen Zuan's eyes lit. There's nothing wrong with following Brother Shu. Let's go. What if Heavenly King Nye discovered us? Won't Brother Shu's whereabouts be exposed? Chang Qiuqiao asked. What are you afraid of? Dress as a girl. No one will recognize you. Chen Zuan cheerily laughed. Chang Qiuqiao was unhappy. Why do I have to dress as a girl? Then who will you act as? I'll act as your husband. Chen Zuan laughed. Fine. Then I'll act as the widow. Chang Qiuqiao laughed coldly. Chen Zuan was silent. Suddenly, Lu Shu received a notification from Shi Xuejin. He was dumbfounded. Shi Xuejin said that he would no longer be a student in the Luotian Cultivation College. Instead, he would teach the combat specialization. What was this? Earlier, he was just an audit student. Now, he was a teacher. Were they afraid that he would cause mischief again? Or was this an act of goodwill by Nie Ting? Lu Shu felt that the latter was not possible. Someone definitely told him that it was easy for Lu Shu to make trouble as a student, but if he was a teacher, he may work hard to be worthy of the name of teacher. There was a possibility that he wanted to use Lu Shu's new position as a teacher to restrict his behavior. Furthermore, he would not be able to affect activities. Lu Shu thought about it. It was possible that once he was promoted, the competition between the 7 major cultivation colleges would occur again. Furthermore, when Lu Shu saw the message, he grew silent. He was to teach the combat specialization. Coral was in the combat specialization? Lu Shu's feelings towards Coral were very complex. When he knew that she only liked him because of the relationship between the Gungner and the World Tree, he was rather disheartened. Now, he was neither pessimistic or optimistic. It was like when fate returned to your side after playing a trick on you. You would be afraid that it would be another trick. But he had no time to think about this now. He had to go to the Changbai Mountains. Chapter 773, Lural. After the students of the Luotian Cultivation College received a notification that the competition was suddenly cancelled, they received the news that there would be a new teacher. The teacher would not replace anyone. Instead, there would be a new course. There were no actual combat lessons during their first year of studies. Most of the lessons covered theory, such as the human anatomy and how to kill in one hit. At first, everyone thought that they would be fighting and killing every day in the combat specialization. But this was not the case. The Heavenly Network wanted them to have a strong foundation in their theory. Suddenly, a new course called Combat Studies had been established. The contents of the course were summarized in a few short sentences. This course will teach actual combat tactics, how to deal with different types of metahumans, and how to coordinate attacks. This was a compulsory course for the combat specialization, but other specializations were welcome to join. But that was not all. When everyone saw the teacher in charge, they were dumbfounded. Isn't that Lord Lu? What? Did the Heavenly Network feel that Lord Lu was so powerful that they allowed him to become a teacher? Someone of the same age as us has become a teacher. Suddenly, a student from the combat specialization complained, "I'm afraid that my life will be in danger under him." Lord Lu's dark history had been exposed by Lu Li. There was even supplementary information. For example, some students reported that they had been humiliated by Lord Lu while they were in the Lopner remains. Lord Lu had become demonized, to the point that mentioning his name could probably make a baby cry. Jokes aside, there was no doubt about Lu Shu's strength. From Lord Lu's experience, it was appropriate for him to teach combat. He had experienced far too many battles. As for coordinating attacks, the Flood of Bronze was very famous. Although everyone knew that the Flood of Bronze could sweep away enemies because of Lu Shu's strength, it was possible that Lu Shu was talented in directing attacks. His reputation aside, everyone felt that it was natural for Lu Shu to become a teacher. I feel that we should get used to calling him Teacher Lu. If not, we might get killed for calling him Lord Lu. Yes, yes, yes. When is the lesson? No one said anything about that. Suddenly, someone saw Coral walking into the training ground. Coral had just paid her respects to Lu Xiu's tomb at the cemetery. Ting was paying attention to this. It was also precisely because of this that Ting doubted Coral's memory loss. Coral looked at everyone. What is everyone talking about? Lural, you're here, greeted someone. Coral concealed her identity here. The officials from the Heavenly Network only said that she was an exchange student. They did not reveal her identity to prevent any unnecessary trouble. The news that the Master of Gods had come to the Heavenly Network as a student sounded good, but the Heavenly Network did not recruit Class A students. On the other hand, with Coral's identity as a Class A, it was easy for her to create a commotion in the cultivation college. Coral herself did not want to be held up by others all day. Coral had never made a public appearance. Thus, no one thought much about it when she appeared as Lural. This was a name that she had given herself. She had chosen a Chinese surname. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. When she wanted to call herself Lural, Ting was silent for very long. Because Coral had a Luo in her name and because of her beautiful appearance, some students had secretly started to call her Luo Shin too. The Luo Shin in Luo Shin Cultivation College. It was said that Luo Shin was the most beautiful goddess in existence Although this was a joke, but one could imagine how popular she was in the eyes of the students, especially due to the fact that she could speak fluent Chinese. Some suspected that Lural was the fabled Coral, but no one could prove this. Furthermore, Coral's typical strength was that of a Class C. There were machines that could test one's strength. Some people held their suspicions, while others discarded them. Someone once asked Coral why her Chinese was so good. She simply smiled but did not answer. But looking at her bashful expression, everyone could not help but think about what exactly had happened. What were you discussing about? Coral smiled. We just received a notification that Lord Lu will be teaching us combat. Someone said, I think that we will be tortured. When Coral heard this, she was dumbfounded. Who is Lord Lu? He's Lu Shu. The one from the combat research specialization. But you might not recognize him.
Ha! Ha!
Anyway, your surname is the same as his someone teased. But someone elbowed him. They suddenly realized that there was something wrong with a Lural. Everyone looked very worried. Only Coral suddenly looked happy. Really, we finally have an actual combat class. Coral wanted to say, really? Lu Shu is going to be our teacher? But this did not sound too reserved. Thus, she rephrased herself. Everyone looked at one another helplessly. Only Coral was happy. Everyone was very worried. But they recalled their suspicions about Lural. Her origins were very mysterious. People would normally not think much about exchange students. At most they would be amazed and say, wow. A foreigner. There were many cases like this. No one would think that this exchange student had anything to do with the students in their school. But her surname was Lu and had a Ral in her name. No matter whether such names existed overseas, the students would definitely link this to something. Everyone had been looking through Lu Shu's dark history. How could they ignore what had happened to Coral and Lu Shu in Europe? It was impossible. Some students started to discuss secretly. Do you think Lural is Coral? If she is. Isn't Coral a Class A? Lural is only a Class C, said another student. Could she be hiding her strength? I want to know what happened between them. I heard that the wedding was supposed to happen near the beach. Coral and Lord Lu killed a few hundred members from the Department of Faith Theory, but there are no other details. Furthermore, after Coral returned, it was as if nothing had happened between them, said another student. I understand if you want to treat each other as enemies, or show your affection publicly, but they are treating each other like strangers. I think we have to leave this question open. Let's see about it. We have no way to prove the truth. The point is, it's suspicious that they are treating each other like strangers. But this doesn't discount the possibility that Laurel is Coral. Coral did not know that many people were still suspicious of her identity. She was happy, but suddenly grew worried. A teacher-student relationship could not happen, right? If she had known this earlier, she would have agreed with Nye Ting's request to be a teacher. Chapter 774, was it exciting? The question over whether Laurel was Coral or not had become the biggest mystery in the Luotian Cultivation College. They would not gain much by solving this mystery. Rather, many people were looking forward to hearing the truth behind this piece of gossip. Everyone was already interested in what had happened to Coral and Lu Shu back in Sardinia. An intense love, and a deadly wedding. This was like the plot of an intense love story. In the past, everyone watched Romeo and Juliet, or Liang Shanhua and Zhu Yingtai, but these stories were too far-fetched for most people. Where was the satisfaction that they derived from observing a relationship such as Lu Shu and Coral's? But there was a lot of missing information. All of them were students with no resources. They did not even know what Coral looked like. Thus, they could only leave this question open. At that moment, an old man with white hair walked out of Lu Shu's house. He did not seem to be carrying anything and walked out. Chang Qiuqiao and Chen Zuan had just returned to find Lu Shu. When they saw the old man, they were dumbfounded. "Who are you?" But when the old man brushed past them, he fell to the ground. Chen Zuan and Chang Qiuqiao were dumbfounded. What was happening? Did they run into a scammer? They might lose thousands of dollars. But before they could understand what was happening, the old man stood up. He smiled and brushed the dust off his clothes. "Children, was that exciting? Life is full of surprises." With that, he left. From Chen Zuan's distress, plus 666. From Chang Qiuqiao's distress, plus 999. When Chang Qiuqiao looked at the old man, he grew pale. Luckily he was fine. "Are you retarded?" Chen Zuan said bitterly, "That was definitely Brother Shu. Who else would be so lowly? It can't be." Chang Qiuqiao was dumbfounded. "Brother Shu doesn't look like that. Although I don't know how he changed his appearance, but I definitely recognized that tab on his finger." Chen Zuan declared with certainty. Chang Qiuqiao had not caught up. What tab? The fact that Lu Shu had a mask was a classified secret that they did not know about. Furthermore, the tab had always been on his left hand, but very few people noticed it. But Chen Zuan was very sharp, thus he noticed it. Ever since the wedding, Lu Shu had always worn the tab on his finger. Thanks to Chang Qiuqiao's reminder, Chang Qiuqiao finally understood what had happened. What, so that was actually Brother Shu? He. Even without the tab, you can tell from his personality. I will definitely recognize him. Chen Zuan laughed coldly. Wait. Chang Qiuqiao was dumbfounded. I think I've seen that tab before. That's right, Laurel from the combat specialization. Chen Zuan said, "You are smart at times, but can be dumb too, huh? I guess you didn't take note of Coral's appearance back then. Even if others can't guess, we know that she's Coral. I noticed the tabs on their fingers a long time ago. I don't know what happened between them. They treat each other like strangers, yet they still wear the tab on their fingers. How did Brother Shu only remove the tab from the can without opening it?" Chang Qiuqiao asked curiously. Chen Zuan was dumbfounded. He looked at Chang Qiuqiao. "Brother, we've both gone through 9 years of education. Why is your worldview so different from mine?" Lu Shu headed towards the Lianyungang, Korgas Expressway in the north. Now, he had taken the appearance of an old man. He could not buy a long-distance ticket if his appearance did not match the one on his ID. Thus, he could only use another method. He would take the bus and pass by the identification checkpoint. He would then board the train after that. In reality, many drivers like to pull in these kinds of passengers. When the system was flawed, drivers could often pocket the train fare from their passengers. There were still seats available when Lu Shu boarded the train. He slowly sat in the middle. Lu Shu had thought about going to the Changbai Mountains for a very long time. If Luo Nan had not suggested that they go to the Kunlun Mountains, he would already be in the Changbai Mountains. The current Changbai Mountains was not just an area that people could not approach. It had been completely sealed off by the heavenly network. According to locals in the area, the creatures in the Changbai Mountains had mutated at a very fast pace. They had become extremely dangerous. A few days ago, Lu Shu had seen a post on the Golden Foundation. The user said that it had saved a penguin which had been covered in petroleum and was on the verge of death. It had floated to a fishing village near Rio de Janeiro. The fishermen had spent a week cleaning it before releasing it back into the ocean. But due to the magically rich era, the penguin became intelligent. It crossed a distance of 8,000 kilometers and overcame obstacles like fatigue, disease, natural predators, and so on to return to the village. There were times when Lu Shu was touched. There were too many instances of cheating around the world. Now, as everyone was protecting themselves from mutated creatures, nature gave humans a surprising gift of warmth. What exactly was in the Changbai Mountains? What creature had gained Nie Ting's attention and protection? Lu Shu had looked through some records regarding the Changbai Mountains. There were two main strange things about the Changbai Mountains. One was the sea monster in the heavenly pond. The other was a place called Rice Bowl. According to the information that Naylan K had analyzed, Nie Ting's sword formation had nothing to do with the sea monster and the rice bowl. But at that moment, Lu Shu suddenly received a notification. The secret behind the ancient Yi clan is in the Changbai Mountains. This was a very strange notification. There was no number attached. Lu Shu did not know who had sent this notification. Lu Shu had never told any outsiders that he was going to the Changbai Mountains. He felt that this was just a coincidence. If he ended up not going to the Changbai Mountains because of this notification, the sender would be shooting themselves in the foot, right? He felt that it could not have been Nie Ting. He would never do such a thing, to hide his head but show his tail. So, what was in the Changbai Mountains? For some reason, Lu Shu felt some danger. Thus, he did not allow Lu Xiaoyu, Chen Zuan and the rest to follow him. But after he received this notification, he grew even more uncertain. It was as if an even greater danger was waiting for him. Thus, Lu Shu decided not to go. Why did the Great Lord go? To destroy the heavenly palace. What if you can never return? Then I will not go. Chapter 775, Lu Xiaoyu, who did not bargain. To Lu Shu, he was willing to go to dangerous places. Earlier, he had wanted to destroy Nie Ting's sword formation. He purely wanted to humiliate Nie Ting. Lu Shu felt that he was a very pure person. If he was humiliated, he would bear a grudge. If others did a favor for him, he would pay them back. He often felt that he was a pure person who separated himself from lowly interests. There was nothing wrong with this. It was often very convenient for him. But with the current situation, Lu Shu did not feel so pure. Furthermore, there was danger ahead, then he would not go. Who are you talking to? Are you telling the truth when you say that I will be able to understand the secret behind the ancient Yi clan? I, Lu Xiaoshu, do not believe this. Lu Shu was sure that the message was not from Nie Ting, as he had not received any distress points from Nie Ting recently. He did not know what Nie Ting was busy with. Since he had advanced to Shinsong Jing, he should be out killing enemies, right? Why was he so quiet now? If it were Lu Shu, he would first kill the bishop. After all, he was not a good person. It would not be wrong to kill him. But there was no news from Nie Ting. Lu Shu did not know what he was up to. At first, Lu Shu had thought that with chaos, he would be able to be on par with Nie Ting. During that period of time, Lu Shu felt that he was full of energy. It was as if he could defeat 10 Li Xiaos. He could show off wherever he went. But now, the boundary of his seal of lands had been pushed out. He had even helped Nieting advance to Shinsong Jing. But he remembered that Nieting had allowed him to become a teacher. Not bad. To be honest, Lu Shu felt that there was no need for both of them to continue this conflict. On one hand, the cause of this conflict was an act of goodwill. Although he did not want to become a heavenly king, Nieting had felt that it was good to give him to position of heavenly king. He did not expect Lu Shu to cause so much mischief either. On the other hand, Lu Shu felt that he could not defeat the Shinsong Jing. Lu Shu returned home. Chen Zuan and Cheng Qiuqiao were resting their chins on the railing. They were dumbfounded when they saw Lu Shu return. They were still discussing how to follow Lu Shu to the Changbai Mountains. Chen Zuan happily teased Lu Shu, "Old man, why are you back?" He took out his phone and started to film. "If you fall down again, I have footage. You can't fool me." Slap. Lu Shu slapped Chen Zuan's head. Cheng Qiuqiao was gloating over his misfortune. "I told you not to hit on girls anymore." From Chen Zuan's distress, plus 333. Lu Shu looked at the 333 distress points and felt that something was wrong. Why so little points? He looked at Cheng Qiuqiao. Did he take half of the 666 points produced? How did you recognize me? Lu Shu's expression darkened. Evidently, they had recognized him. Cheng Qiuqiao would not have said so otherwise. Chen Zuan laughed with disdain. "No one can be as lowly as you. I see that you've become more reliable recently, huh?" With that, Lu Shu returned home. He returned to his original appearance and kept the mask in the Seal of Lands. Chen Zuan and Cheng Qiuqiao whispered outside, "Do you think that Brother Shu is back because he can't get his mind off Coral?" Cheng Qiuqiao cheerily laughed. "Brother Zuan, I see you're not done yet. Discussing gossip about Brother Shu behind his back." "I think so too. Let's lie low and observe him," said Chen Zuan softly. "Let's apply for his lesson and see how it goes." At night, Lu Xiaoyu dragged Lu Shu to buy clothes. Lu Shu did not understand why. "I already have a lot of short-sleeved shirts." "There's enough." Lu Xiaoyu insisted. "No. Now that you're going to be a teacher, you have to dress formally. You can't allow your students to laugh at you." Becoming a teacher had suddenly become a grand occasion. Lu Shu had not thought about this at first, but Lu Xiaoyu insisted that he could no longer think like a student. It was not that Lu Xiaoyu felt that his fashion was not good. Lu Xiaoyu felt as if she was finally able to do something for a major event in Lu Shu's life. When she was young, white shoes were trending among students. Lu Shu bought her a pair of white shoes because he wanted her to have a normal childhood, where people cared about her and bought her new clothes and shoes. Now that Lu Shu was going to become a teacher, Lu Xiaoyu did not care about anything else. She just hoped that she would be able to do the same for Lu Shu. In the market, Lu Xiaoyu dragged Lu Shu along in all directions. A dress shirt looked too mature for an 18-year-old. Leather shoes did not seem appropriate either. She felt that these clothes looked very awkward on a casual person like Lu Shu. In the end, she chose a collared short-sleeved shirt. A collar was a very mysterious thing. It was as if one would look more official just by adding a collar. Of course, they passed on the hipster collars. Lu Shu just could not appreciate them. The clothes were not cheap. It cost $699. In the past, Lu Shu's most expensive short-sleeved shirt only cost $88. It became $66 after Lu Xiaoyu bargained. But this time, Lu Xiaoyu did not bargain. The salesperson smiled. "You can take a look at this row of clothes. They are all on discount." Lu Xiaoyu calmly rejected. I don't need any discounts when I buy clothes for him. The salesperson was dumbfounded. Lu Shu was puzzled as well. Lu Xiaoyu usually loved to bargain. But to Lu Xiaoyu, she felt that if the price was reduced, so would her intentions. When Lu Shu told Yu Mingyu that he was willing to take up the position of teacher for the combat specialization, Yu Mingyu emphasized that he could no longer be a student if he became a teacher. Lu Shu personally agreed to this. Right after Lu Shu agreed, the Heavenly Network sent out a notice. The competition between the 7 major cultivation colleges will resume as planned. When Lu Shu received the notification, he fell silent. It was as if someone was saying, "Are you sure that you don't want to be a student? Let me confirm with you again. Are you very sure you don't want to be a student? Okay. Then we will resume the competition." Lu Shu was slightly annoyed. The moment the notification was sent out, the Cultivation College forum was flooded with posts. Earlier, everyone had still been wondering whether the competition had been cancelled because of Lord Lu. Now that Lord Lu had become a teacher for the combat specialization, the competition would resume as planned. Not even a ghost would believe that this had nothing to do with Lord Lu. Lord Lu 666. Lord Lu is amazing. We actually saw a person single-handedly control school activities in our lifetime. This deserves to go into the history books. In the summer of 2011, Lord Lu used his position to sweep across the cultivation colleges. As a result, the competition between the colleges was cancelled. A few days after, Lord Lu became a teacher for the combat specialization and the competition was resumed. Long live Lord Lu, who united the nation.
What does it mean to be happy? 'Cause it looks like we all don't know. Glass half full or empty. Man, we just putting on a show. Try to look to the heavens.